That is when decision makers internally and influencers and stakeholders' ears perk up. Yeah, that's good. Just curious, seeing what's out there. All right, no worries. Have you guys got an outbound motion? Yes, we do. All right, great. How are they currently finding X, Y, and Z? In this case, it was contact data. Well, they scrape the internet. You know how it is. No, I don't know how it is. Tell me how it is. Guys, we're back with the Sell the Future podcast on this week's episode. Guys, we are back with the Sell the Future podcast. And on this week's episode, we are going to walk through MEDDIC. What is MEDDIC? Yeah, I know you guys hear it, right? Sales methodology. We don't use BANT, we use MEDDIC. And you nod along. But do you really know what MEDDIC is? Sure, you might know what it stands for loosely. But how do you implement it in deals? Why is it important for deals in this day and age? Stay tuned because we are going to cover an absolute MEDDIC masterclass, and I'll walk you through each stage and how you can implement it in your deals so you now have full control over your deals, not letting the deals control you. Stay tuned for that. But first, we are going to jump into more Andy Elliott. I love this guy. He is class. I've got 3 videos for you. He's been going around just clipping up videos that he's posted of himself, ringing up car dealerships, pretending to be a buyer, and basically seeing, are these sellers worth their soul? Let's check this one out.
If your general manager or your owner of your store heard you take this call.
This is Josiah. May I help you?
Yeah, I was calling to get some information on a pre-owned vehicle.
Sure. Which vehicle?
It's a 2018 Jeep Compass. So I'm going to tell him intentionally that the information's wrong, and let's see how he handles it and if he can come back from it. This is a totally different call than I've done before.
What was the price tag on it? Was it the $8,900 one?
Yeah, $8,900.
What information would you like about it?
Okay, so it's a 2018 Compass, and it's $8,900, and I see the price or the miles at 37,898. Is that correct?
137,898.
Oh, okay. I thought it said it had 37,000 miles.
137, and that one we are selling that one as is.
Oh, okay. I got it. Watch. Let's see if you can convert me anything else.
Some notes on it. The power sunroof does not work.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I'm going to look for something with less miles. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. And what was your name?
Josiah.
Oh, Josiah. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys have a lot of newer vehicles there with lower miles?
So we got 411 used vehicles right now. So
How long have you been selling for?
a year and a few months.
So you were totally honest. You're like, hey, the vehicle, it has a messed up sunroof. It's got 137,000 miles. And I said, man, I want to stay with something with less miles. Do you think that we should have talked to them about vehicles that have 30 to 40,000 miles that are SUVs that you have on the lot? Whenever I call and you have 411 or 400 plus, pre-owned vehicles in stock, and a lot of them have lower miles, and I'm wanting something with lower miles. If your general manager or your owner of your store heard you take this call and you had a lower mile vehicle that you could have told me about, but you didn't. See, this guy came into work today to sell cars. He's got 400 vehicles on his lot with lower miles. At what point should have said, you want lower miles? Are you kidding me? If you came in, this isn't the car I would sell to my mother. I'm gonna be totally honest. It's sold as is. But if you're wanting lower mile vehicles, I've got 400 of them in stock. Can you talk to me for a minute? What are you looking for? What are you replacing? Who's this vehicle going to be for? We're going to figure this out on this call right now. Did he do any of that? No. Dealerships are burning their freaking phone departments to the ground. They're letting anybody who breathes take their phone calls and ruin their brands. It literally takes 20 years to build a reputation and one day to tear it down. If I was this dealer, I would be furious.
Unreal. Josiah, he's been selling for just over a year. He's already lost any enthusiasm or motivation he had for the role. Could have. You got 400 plus cars there with lower mileage. Your prospect has just told you, I'm looking for a car with lower mileage. And you go, could have told him that, but too busy eating my sandwich or having a cigarette or doing absolutely nothing and clock watching and waiting to go home. I'm not an advocate for firing people on the spot, but this guy's not really leaving us much choice, is he? Shocking. If a prospect tells you what they want, can you find them a solution? And this guy had hundreds potentially of options to show, and he just goes, no problem, see you later. It should be see you later to his sales career. On to the next one.
You think that you can replicate and redo what I just taught you? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one shot to earn my business. Ring, ring, re-answer the phone. Go.
Sales, how can I help you?
Yeah, I was calling to get some information on a vehicle I saw on the internet.
Yeah, sure. What vehicle are you looking at?
Yeah, it's a 2024 Bronco.
Yeah, 2024 Badlands.
Did not get my name.
Just under 5,000 miles on it.
No
Okay,
big deal.
sure.
Nobody does anymore. Yep.
What questions can I answer for you, sir?
Yeah. So is it nice? Come on, man. Like,
Oh,
let's
yeah,
get
it's a
excited.
super nice car. I mean, it's, your top trim level there.
I'm going to go look at another one. It's a little bit cheaper. And then if I don't buy it, I'll call you guys back, okay?
Yeah, I mean, definitely give us a call. We'd, love to earn your business on this one, sir.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. What's your name?
Nick,
Nick. How long have you been in sales for, Nick?
I have been in sales about 6.5 years.
Wow. It's a long time. How old are you?
34.
Dude, I love that. Okay. Well, listen, you didn't get my name, the whole conversation. Did you hear what I said?
Very good point, sir. What's your name there, sir? So we can follow up with you here in
Well, number one, my name's Tom. But secondly, you didn't paint the picture. Tell me how nice it was. I know how nice it is. I actually drove by and looked at it myself early this morning before anyone came into the dealership. And so I was calling and I thought, this is going to be an opportunity for me to see how I would be treated if I walked in and wrote a check for it. And so it's not necessarily that I want to get a better deal or the price is too high or I saw one cheaper. It's just that I want to feel important when I'm spending money. And that didn't happen on this call. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you like me to train you for a minute so that you never miss a deal again?
Sure, go ahead.
Where are you calling from today? Have you had the chance to drive one of these yet? What do you currently have now? Are you trading anything in? We love trade-ins. Tell me what you got. You could have done all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one shot to earn my business. Ring, ring, re-answer the phone. Go.
Oh,
This is not a bad attitude. This right here is the standard of the dealership. And this dealership lets this guy stay in there every day. And he hung up on a customer because he did a horrible job and he got caught. By the way, in the dealership, this is probably a normal everyday practice. I just showed you guys this live.
yeah. I mean, what do you say about that? This guy, firstly, didn't get a name. Why do you get a name in any form of life, walk of life, sales? Life is sales. The name is so important. Why? Because what's the most important word to any particular person? It's their name. It's how you can gain control of a negotiation, of a deal cycle, of a sales cycle by just dropping the name in to make sure you have their attention at certain times or actually use it. You can use a name in a multitude of ways. So it's super important to get the name. But also, I guess this is the world we live in. No one wants to do the hard yards. No one wants to learn. This guy is doing everything wrong. Andy Elliott's going to show him, hey, look, this is what you can do. And what did Andy Elliott show him? Ask questions. Ask questions. Discovery is the start and the foundation of any deal, any sales cycle. Discovery is the foundation of it all. You need to start by asking questions. Why do you ask questions? Because that helps you understand your prospects' needs. Where are they? If they just ring you up and you're just an order taker and then go, yeah, I'm looking for this, but it has to be this. And we'll be like, well, we haven't got this, or it's too many miles, or it's too expensive. Nothing I can do on price. All right, I'll go elsewhere. Okay, no problem. Have a good day. That's not sales. Yeah. Ask them, well, what exactly are you looking for? Have you got a car, another car to trade in? Why are you in the market for a car right now? Why has this particular car caught your attention? Anything. Ask something. We're not order takers. And unfortunately, this guy hasn't received the right amount of training, or any training it looks like, or beyond the basic level of training. And then when he has his chance to speak to the Andy Elliott, the number one guy in his field, he hangs up, says it all. Right. On to the last one.
Thank you for holding. This is Kevin. How may I help you?
Kevin, I was calling to get some information on a pre-owned vehicle I saw on the internet.
All right. And what is your name, sir?
Tom?
Nice.
What are we looking for?
It's a 2020 Chevy Trailblazer.
Yes, sir. We do have it.
Okay, great, man. Thank you.
What can I do for you on that, sir?
Okay, so I see it listed at $25,614. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What's your best price?
That would be on a manager, sir. I could go to a manager, talk to you, and see where we could be on it.
Let's just talk to the manager. I'll be happy to wait.
All right. Give me just a minute. I will be right back to you.
Thank you so much. These managers
We like Kevin.
are on the phone, deadly at connecting and explaining why they're different. And when I say the price is too high, instead of going into it's all about the money, he should tell me why they can charge more for this car and why they're different. And I bet he won't. I can smell it through the phone. Hey, Caleb, this is Tom. Are you one of the managers?
I am the manager. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, okay. I was calling to get some information on a 2020 Chevy Blazer, and I gave your salesperson really
Black RS?
Yep, really nice salesperson. And I was asking him, what's your best price? And he said that the internet price was your best price. And I said, obviously, he doesn't have the authority to discount anything. So I thought I would talk to you.
Man, that's not much help. I could do 25.4 on it.
Okay. Well, it looks like I'll buy the one at 24.8. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much.
Cool. No problem, man. Have a good one. Bye.
Okay. Number one, he didn't ask me if I had a trade-in. He didn't ask me if I was financing the vehicle. He didn't ask me, hey, Andy, let me ask you a question, okay? I would be losing money if I matched that price. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I got to figure out how to make this make sense somewhere, but I want to earn your business. I have extended warranty. Since this is a 2020 with 48,000 miles, I have some extended warranties, and I know that, this is lower miles, but you want to make sure this vehicle is protected like a new one. If I could get you in my finance department and you'd be willing to finance with me, I think we could probably put this together some way, somehow. Listen, you've called me. Clearly, you really want this vehicle, or you want to ask the salesperson to get me involved. So if this feels right and 24.8's the number, if that's what you're telling me the number is, I can't sell it for that, but maybe I might be able to try to get close to matching that if we can talk about some other areas so I can make it make sense to my company so I don't get in trouble for losing money on this deal. Could you imagine how far managers would get if they would work with customers like this, but they don't?
You've got a guy willing to buy, but it's all come down to price. Now, how can we relay this to SaaS sales? Well, in the fast-paced world of SMB, velocity-driven sales, for example, and you come across a price objection, or it's all down to price, what's the best price you can do for me? It's give and take, right? Well, how quickly can you move, right? But you can ask it in a better way. For full transparency, there's three things my SLT care about. A, B, C. C being the biggest lever you can pull, that is speed to signature. We're a velocity-driven business. Outside of keeping the product up to date, myself and the rest of my sales team are the biggest expense of the business. If we can shorten up those sales cycles, we make a saving. Happy to pass that on to you as a massive thank you for moving quickly and working with us on this. So, question back to you would be, if we can hit the right mark, including the right terms and conditions with the right price point, would you be able to sign off by close of play Friday? Do something when it comes to price. You can't just be like, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, okay, cool. All right, no worries. You're going to go buy a cheaper option. In a transactional sale, you need to get something back. In this Andy Elliott video, he might not be able to hit that price point, but ask questions around it. Okay, look, well, have you got a car to trade in? Because then actually that we can move the price on that. I need to make sure, that I'm not giving this car away and we're making a loss on it. My SLT won't let me do that, but there are certain levers we can pull. There has to be. And this guy's not mentioned a single one of them. He's basically just lost the deal there on the spot if that was a real call. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. By the way, if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it really helps me reach more people. So if you think there's useful content here, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and notify yourselves for the next podcast. Now, we will do more on Andy Elliott because I think he's a great, great sales trainer. But I said at the start of this podcast, MEDDIC. Which sales methodology do you use, AEs? Right? Businesses will talk to you about frameworks. They'll talk to you about sales methodologies. They'll just assume that you know what MEDDIC is, what BANT is, whatever else, yeah, MEDDPIC, etc. But I think it's worthwhile doing something on MEDDIC where we break it down in more detail so you guys can understand. You, the sellers, SDRs, AEs, pay attention. This one is for you because you need to know why you're using MEDDIC. And I think a lot of sales reps, they just get told this is the framework you're going to use, and they try and learn it on the job, and eventually they barely actually utilize any of it, and they don't actually know why they're doing it. So let's jump into it. Firstly, what does MEDDIC stand for, and why do we use MEDDIC? Well, what is MEDDIC about? It's a sales methodology, which is basically qualification, but ultimately it's about control. It's not so much a qualification checklist to make sure you use this as a form of control to control and mitigate risk throughout the deal cycle. So M stands for metrics. What does it actually mean though? Quantifiable business impact. Okay. So what it means is if your solution works, what measurably improves? Is it revenue? Is it cost savings? Is it time saved? Risk reduced? No, time saved on its own doesn't really relate to any real metrics until you link that time saved to a specific number, right? What is it in lost revenue? Or how much time will you be saving? And as a result, what does that mean from a business standpoint and a cost standpoint? You need to relate it to an actual tangible number. What great looks like. Clear before and after numbers the customer agrees with. Exactly that. How to uncover it in discovery. Ask questions like, what happens if this problem is solved successfully? How is this measured internally today? What would a 10 to 20% improvement mean to the business from a monetary standpoint? Yeah. Who cares most about this number? Now, once we've run through MEDDIC here, the actual framework, I'm going to give you a live example of one of the deals that I ran not long ago, and that outlines why metrics can actually trigger the rest of your framework, and it can set the foundations to basically tick the boxes off for the rest of this framework. E, economic buyer. What does that mean? The person who can say yes to spend. Yeah, exactly what it says on the tin. Who is the economic buyer? This is the individual who owns a budget and signs the deal. What does great look like? Direct access or a clear path to them. Now, we might not always have this, and we will cover this later on. What do we do if we don't have direct access to the end decision maker or buyer? How to uncover it in discovery. How are purchases like this typically approved? Who owns budget for this initiative? If we get this right, who ultimately signs it off? Right, straight up. What does success look like for them personally? They're the ones signing on the dotted line. They're the ones who have the budget, and they're the ones who are actually given the green light on the business spending on this. So they're going to have some needs and wants. Find out what they are and find out what their version of success looks like for this. They're not just there just signing and then just not thinking about it, right? Everything they sign is deliberate. Make sure you find out what's important to them. All right. D, decision criteria. This is the first D. What does it stand for? How the buyer will choose a vendor. All right. What does that mean? So the standards your solution will be judged against, whether it be price, features, risk, vendor trust, ROI. What does great look like? You know the criteria before a decision is made, and then you can influence it. Yeah. How to uncover it in discovery. What will you evaluate vendors on? What matters most versus nice to have? Exactly what's essential in the business? What's the most important thing? What's your priority right now? How will you justify this to decision internally? And what would disqualify a vendor? Really, really key question to ask. Now, the second D, decision process. The steps, edit. The steps to a signed deal. What does it mean? The internal journey from interest to approval. That will be meetings. There will be reviews. Are there legal and procurement teams that need to get involved? If so, how long is their process? You can run legal and procurement side by side. Okay, so if you know it's typically a 2-week turnaround to get red lines back, fit that into your timeline. Yeah, for your deal cycle, you're working towards a close date. So manage it effectively. If you know it takes 2 weeks and procurement and legal can run side by side, hey, Mr. Champion, this sounds like it's great. Whilst we're building out a business case, would it be a good idea to get this in front of legal and procurement now so we can actually make sure that we can adhere to the timelines we've got in place in our mutual action plan? What great looks like, no surprises between now and close. No, John in finance needs to get involved, actually. He's got the final say. Hold on. I thought we went through the decision process, right? No surprises between now and close. Walk me through how a decision like this gets made. Yeah. What steps happen after this particular call? Who needs to be involved and when? Do we need to loop in your direct line manager now? What could slow this down? By the way, guys, if you've got more questions to add on these, drop them in the comments. These are just 4 I've put together, right? There's many, many more we could be asking. If you've got any ideas, or you use different questions, or you don't like any of these, drop me a line in the comments. I'll respond to each and every single one. I identify pain, what it stands for. This is the business problem that's worth fixing. Real costly pain, not just surface level inconvenience. Surface level inconvenience with no tangible metrics will not get signed off. It will result in a closed loss. You can bank on that. What does great look like? Pain that is tied to metrics, urgency, and ownership. Boom. That's exactly the nirvana. That's the promised land. That's where you want to get to. How to uncover it in discovery. What's driving you to look at this now? What happens if nothing changes? Where does this show up day to day? Who feels the pain the most? Notice what's driving you to look at this now. Yeah, that's the why. Why now? Why is this important? Why are we having this conversation? Say, okay, yeah, great. I need X, Y, and Z. All right, I understand you need X, Y, and Z, but why now? What's happened in the business that makes this a priority for you right now? Yeah, why now? And then C, champion. An internal seller on your behalf. Someone with influence and motivation who will push your solution forward when you're not in the room. Sometimes you won't have direct access to the economic buyer. Sometimes you won't have direct access to the final ultimate decision maker, depending on the size of business you're looking at. What great looks like, they win personally if your solution wins. Exactly. Because if they win personally, you bet your life they're going to push it internally. But how do they push it internally properly? Who benefits most from this being solved? Who would be disappointed if this didn't happen? How have you championed projects like this before? What's worked previously before? Have you brought any successful tools onto the business or into the business before on board? Would you be open to aligning on how to position this internally? What is this last question asking? It's asking, if you're open to it, I'm going to work on a business case with you to present internally. And we're going to have a solid business case with clear ROI. That business case is super important. Because when you're not in the room, if your champion just goes, hey, I just had a great meeting with Neil. He's found a tool. He's got a tool that will really help us out right now. And it cost £50,000, your deal's dead in the water. Because what do they hear? They hear something that says 50K and it doesn't even know what it solves and it hasn't even got clear ROI. You need clear ROI and you need clear metrics. For example, when the champion goes in, I've had a really, really good meeting with Neil. They've got this tool that solves X, Y, and Z for us. And actually, here's a business case we've put together that maps out exactly how, if we come in at this price point in terms of investment, here is what we will be saving over the next month, over the next quarter, over the next year. That is when decision makers internally and influencers and stakeholders' ears perk up. Without that, dead in the water. Now, let me give you an example of a deal I ran not long ago, okay? We went outbound, right? So when we're doing MEDDIC, implementing MEDDIC, I said to you, the metrics is super important because if you can get those right, then you've got the economic buyer interested. The ROI becomes the number one metric for decision criteria. and then you figure out the decision process. It is the starting point that knocks everything else into place. You nail the metrics, you stand a good chance of controlling that deal and implementing the rest of the framework. So we're speaking to a business. Yeah, looks good. Just curious, seeing what's out there. All right, no worries. Have you guys got an outbound motion? Yes, we do. All right, great. How are they currently finding X, Y, and Z? In this case, it was contact data. Well, they scrape the internet. You know how it is. No, I don't know how it is. Tell me how it is. Well, they go on businesses, websites. Okay, cool. Sounds a bit time consuming. Where else? They go on LinkedIn. Okay, sorry, forgive me. LinkedIn, the same place where I go where there is zero contact info. What are they finding on LinkedIn that I'm not? There's no contact data. There's no email addresses. There's no phone numbers. What are they doing on LinkedIn? Well, they go through the profiles and they'll connect to them and then they'll look to their contact info. Okay, cool. How much time are they spending on average per day scraping the internet for contact data to reach out to people? No, a couple of hours. Okay. So a quarter of their day is spent researching and trying to find contact data. What would you want them have? What would you have them do if we could give you those 2 hours a day back? Oh, get on the phone and book meetings. Great. How many meetings are they booking per week? 20 meetings a week. Excellent. So if we can give you that time back, they should, in theory, book a quarter more in terms of meetings. So your meetings go from 20 meetings to 25 meetings booked per week. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay. Just out of interest, what's your conversion rate on meetings sat to closed one? 1 in 4 nil typically. Yeah, we work at about 25% close rate. It's very high, very healthy. Okay, sounds good. So you're closing 1 in 4. So on any given week, you're closing 5 deals, right? Which is, what's an average deal worth to you guys? 18 to 20K, 18 to 20. Okay, cool. So in any given week, in terms of new business, you're closing anywhere between 90 to 100K worth of new business. Is that correct? Yes, it is. All right. So if we're going from 20 meetings, which is 5 deals closed and 90 to 100K closed per week, to 25 meetings booked per week, you've now gone from 5 deals closed to just over 6. So now instead of closing 90 to 100K, we're closing 120 to 125K per week. You're leaving 20 to 25 grand a week on the table just by having your reps wasting time scraping the internet when we've got ready-made contact data right there for them. Just to put that into context, per month, it's costing the business around 100K, which spread out over the course of the year is now costing you 1.2 million. Do you see where I'm going with this, John? Or when you put it like that, Neil? Those are clear, tangible metrics. That now shifts the conversation, guys, from do we like this tool to, geez, how quickly can we stop this revenue leak? Now, if I don't get those metrics and then I go and say, oh, John, hey, look, it's 54K to sign up for the year, I may be able to do something to get it closer to 50K. How's he going to pitch this internally if we haven't got the metrics of what revenue they're losing? They are leaking revenue. And that all came from me finding out how much time per day was wasted trying to find contact data on the internet, scraping the net, and on LinkedIn, where everyone knows there's no data. There's no contact data anyway. So time saved, I could have stopped. Now, what happens if I stop at time saved? I'll give you 2 hours a day back. Great. How would you want them to utilize it? Well, they'll get on the phone, they'll start doing the job that they're doing. But if I don't tie it to what that means for the business by asking them, look, how many meetings do you book per week? 20. Okay. Well, if you have that time back, then they'll book more meetings, and it actually works out directly. If they're doing 2 out of 8 hours a day researching, we give them those 2 hours back, your meetings will increase from 20 to 25, right? What will that mean for the business? Well, how many do you convert? 1 in 4. Great. So now you're going to convert 1 in 4 out of 25 rather than 20. What's an average deal worth to you? 18 to 20K. Well, that's an extra deal a week, every week. Across a month, it's what? an extra 100 grand, an extra 90 to 100 grand a month to the business. If I don't tie the time saved, then all it is, hey, yeah, the guys will have a couple of extra hours back in their day. Well, if you're an economic buyer or Jim in finance, you're thinking, well, I've got to pay 50 grand for them to have a little bit more time. Like, you need to link it to tangible revenue or cost to the business, because without that, time saved really doesn't mean anything. It just looks like a cost. It looks like an expense. 50K. I think we can just continue as we are, no? You need to get clear ROI metrics and need to paint clear pictures in terms of how much money revenue is being lost in the business from that one tiny bit of information you find out. Dig in deep, ask those questions, go down those funnels. Guys, that is it for another week of the Sell the Future podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. MEDDIC, use it, guys. It's super effective as a sales methodology. But before you use it, understand it. Yeah, you need to understand what you're using as a methodology and why you're using it. Because when you use it, you will get, what is the aim for using a methodology? It is so it allows you more control over your deal. That is why we use it. It's not just a qualification checklist. That means nothing. You need to control your deal from start to finish, and you need to make your deal and your sales cycle as robust as possible. That's why we use it. I hope that masterclass helped you out. And also, yes, the Andy Edit videos are entertaining. They're good. Drop me some comments on those if you found it interesting, or if there's something else that you think Andy missed or I missed. He's a great seller. There's always lessons to learn in his videos, which is why I bring them to you on the Sell the Future podcast. And guys, like Andy did, he asks questions like we do in MEDDIC. When we implement the MEDDIC framework in SaaS sales, we ask questions. It is about discovery. So I have put together my 50 best discovery questions. I've segmented them into different verticals, so it's super clear when to ask which question. The link is in the description below. It is free. Click on it, download your copy now, and start implementing it from Monday. We're coming up to year end. Or start implementing it in January 2026. This is super important, guys, that you know the right questions to ask at the right time. You're getting them for free. Download your copy now. And as I said before, if you found that useful and you like the video, then like the video. And if you want more, then make sure you subscribe. And if you're not sick of me, click right here and I'll see you guys in there.